Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm April Knight, and for Sandra Gumansing. The Women's Coalition of St. Croix have managed to keep their doors open despite their financial struggles. Just a few months ago, they were faced with the possibility of having to cut staff and services, but things have gotten a little better. News2's Erica Parsons has that story.
The Women's Coalition will be able to keep their doors open a little bit longer.
LEPC has been working really hard, and we really want to give props to everyone in that office, especially our program officers, Tara Rodriguez and Angela Campbell, and Mr. Christian, were able to release some of the VOCA funding, which is the Victims of Crime Act monies.
The Women's Coalition had not received critical federal grant funding issued through the Law Enforcement Planning Commission in nearly 2 years. But now they'll get at least 6 months of one grant.
We did get approximately 3 months of funding through VOCA, as well as we just got notice last week that we have another 3 months of funding that we received. We're still waiting on VAWA, and we're hoping that that they are able to clear up all of their audit issues so that come the new fiscal year, we'll be able to get new grants. So we're in better shape with LEPC for sure.
Officials say the money they received is the difference between having to cut services, which they've avoided.
Majority of that funding goes towards our crisis center and our crisis counselors' salaries, as well as the running of the center and our advocates. So we've been able to keep our doors open with that funding.
They are, however, working on a skeletal staff to provide programs and services for families of domestic violence.
We had cut some staffing at our shelter and crisis counselor a year ago, and we have not been able to fill those positions. We're hanging on, and our staff has really stepped up to do a lot more with a lot less.
The VI government's fiscal year begins October 1, and that should bring some more relief. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Forno also thanked Senator Novelle Francis, Governor Mapp, and all the senators for awarding the Women's Coalition an additional $60,000 for fiscal year 15. They hope to receive that allotment soon. Well, parents came out in force yesterday, as we reported, to take their children to school and to attend orientations. But over the weekend, at another event, there was a stronger showing of parents who want to get more involved in the school life of their kids. The St. Thomas St. John officials of the Department of Education were pleasantly surprised by how many people attended. Here's more. The Marriott Frenchman's Reef was packed Sunday with parents gearing up for the school year, and according to organizers of the event, the turnout simply blew past their expectations.
What is really impressive about today's event is that we are way above the capacity that we thought would attend.
We expected maybe 100 people, and right now we have 400.
The 2015 Parent Conference, hosted by the St. Thomas St. John District, featured lectures from acclaimed speakers, breakout sessions, and group sessions on anything and everything related to student life.
Internet safety, age appropriateness, nutrition, raising a bilingual child, gang awareness, how to talk to your child properly. And then we have a lot of district initiatives like Common Core State Standards and Smarter Balance testing.
According to Education Commissioner Sharon McCullum, this year parents have shown a marked increase in participating in their children's academic life. She said that's actually one of the department's goals for the school year.
Definitely something we have to do if we're going to have success, academic success on the part of our students. Parents must be engaged.
According to education officials, the enthusiasm shown by parents says they're going to be actively involved long after the conference ends.
They are actually very excited. They're up, they're moving, they're listening to the speaker. They're very interactive.
And we're feeling the energy from them, so we're hoping that as the year progresses, we'll partner together and make this work for our children.
It's a pretty inspiring event right there. Congratulations to the organizers, and hopefully we'll get to see a conference of a similar scale on St. Croix. The territory was rocked by a very violent weekend that saw one man dead and almost a dozen others injured during multiple shooting incidents. The shootings have highlighted the fact that the criminal element is getting access to more and more guns, including the more sophisticated weapons. Local officials are planning a strategic response. News 2's Erica Parsons has more.
More and more guns are being taken off the streets by VI police, but it's not keeping pace with the ones getting into the hands of criminals.
The number of bullets that were sprayed, to my understanding, in Red Brick could have resulted in a serious massacre situation here.
Just this past weekend, one man was killed and at least 5 others injured on St. Croix by high-powered guns. Officials say they're working with the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Agency.
Could you expand on where these weapons, these firearms might be coming from? And is there anything being done to shut down the spigot that seem to be flowing more and more with these high-power weapons coming in?
Until we get some additional MOUs and sit with those entities, I cannot tell you where the weapons are coming from, and I cannot tell you specifically at this moment how they're going to be resolved.
Law enforcement officials have been working on a plan to address the escalating crime. They may have to change tactics again.
We have been developing strategies to combat that. There was a saying that once you create a plan and the plan doesn't work, then you go back to the drawing board and create a new one. We have been doing that.
Police Commissioner Delroy Richards has scheduled a strategic planning meeting this week.
We're going to sit with both all the local and federal entities, and we're going to put a plan together to respond.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
Lieutenant Governor Osbert Potter, in his capacity as acting governor Tuesday, lifted the state of emergency declared on September 5th because of all the gun violence. That means all territorial peace officers who were deputized during that time can resume their normal duties. Another police reports a 4-year-old boy drowned Monday at Rainbow Beach on St. Croix's West End. The child's mother stated that the toddler had been playing in the water unattended while she saw to the needs of her younger child, and then someone approached her saying that her child had drowned. A worker for a nearby business told officers that he'd seen the child floating in the water. He went to check and saw that the toddler was floating face down, unresponsive and foaming at the mouth. He then immediately began to perform CPR until the St. Croix Rescue and the VI Fire Department arrived. The child was pronounced dead at Juan Louis Hospital at 5:20 p.m. Well, 770 passengers from on board the disabled Carnival Liberty will be flown to Puerto Rico today. Carnival Cruise Lines has chartered flights to take passengers home after a small fire in the engine room Monday cut short a 7-day Caribbean cruise. According to WICO President Joseph Busholti, 170 passengers took a chartered flight to Barbados on Tuesday. The Carnival chartered flights continue Wednesday with 6 flights scheduled for San Juan. The cruise line will continue to facilitate departures until all passengers have left. Carnival Liberty is still docked on St. Thomas and will remain in port until all passengers disembark and the ship is able to leave. Passengers were safely evacuated when the fire broke out shortly before noon on Monday. They reboarded the ship about 8:15 p.m. on Monday night and remained in port. The ship's automated fire suppression system extinguished the fire. Local emergency personnel were on the dock to assist. No one was injured in the incident. The cause of the fire has not yet been determined. Well, Governor Kenneth Mapp's financial team came before the Senate Finance Committee again on Tuesday, capping a series of fiscal year 2016 budget hearings that began a few months ago. The budget deficit stands at approximately $89 million, according to OMB Director Nellen Bowery, a significant improvement from the earlier estimate of $114 million rather. He said it's owing to an increase in revenues and contributions. According to Bowery, the Virgin Islands economy has already absorbed most of the negative impact of the 2008 recession and the Hervenza refinery closing, and that there is a basis for cautious optimism in the economic landscape. According to the financial team, about $16 million in tax refunds still needs to be paid, and they would like to pay the balance by the end of the fiscal year on September 30th. Keeping an eye on the economy, here's a look at our New York Stock Exchange with our Stock Market Watch. Everything down, the Dow 239, NASDAQ 55, S&P 27. Coming up on News 2, updates on the Ralph de Chabert demolition project and more relief headed to storm-ravaged Dominica. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Another trailer of goods and supplies will be on its way to Dominica on Saturday, thanks to the efforts of Senator Kurt Viale and the community. The senator held a Relief for Dominica food drive this past Saturday at Plaza Extra West. People donated food, water, dry goods, baby items, and numerous other necessities for the island that was hit hard by Tropical Storm Erica 2 weeks ago. Organizers were able to fill 4 trucks and 2 SUVs by 1 p.m. Saturday. The senator's effort is just one of many local initiatives. The VI government, private companies, and local nonprofits and organizations formed a task force to coordinate the relief efforts, and aid has already been sent daily to Dominica. St. Croix Rescue left this weekend to volunteer its first responders. Well, after a WAPA generating unit went down on Tuesday, some portions of St. Thomas experienced power fluctuations during Tuesday evening. As feeders were rotated from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Tuesday, service was interrupted to portions of feeder 8B servicing Peterborg to Skyline and feeder 9D from Nada Ballpark to Compass Point. According to WAPA, all feeders were back on by 9:15 p.m. and the generator that WAPA crews were working on was back online by 1 a.m. Well, if you have any concerns that you want to take up with the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs, now's your chance to let them know. They're holding a town hall meeting tomorrow, Thursday, September 10th, at the Great Hall on the St. Croix campus of the University of the Virgin Islands. They'll also be informing you of the agency's current initiatives. The meeting will begin promptly at 5:30 p.m. and will end at 8 p.m. They'll have staff on hand to answer questions, so make sure you mark that on your calendar. Well, several streets in the Richmond area were closed over the weekend while work continued on the Ralph de Chabert demolition project. Contractors knocked down the water tower close to the Charles Harwood Medical Facility and property and procurement offices. The streets were closed to make sure no one got hurt, and housing authority officials plan to keep the community updated on the progress. The project to demolish the vacant housing community is still in the initial phase. Demolition began August 25th. The VI Waste Management Authority has been working on the new dumping facility near Mahogany Run on St. Thomas, and now the agency says it's close to being completed. The site is expected to be closely monitored once it opens, having a history of illegal dumping by residents who threw furniture and appliances in the household waste-only bin site. Also, the Department of Labor is hosting the next Chamber of Commerce Business After Hours. That's on Thursday, September 10th. It's going to be at the Petite Pump Room on St. Thomas. That's at the Wilmot Blyden Seaport on the waterfront. The event starts 5:30 p.m. and ends 7:30. Again, business after hours Thursday from 5:30 to 7:30. You can call them at 776-0100 for more information. McDonald's at 45. The fast food chain celebrated its 45th anniversary on St. Croix this past Friday at its Golden Rock location. The company celebrated its long history with the Big Island as well as recognized its long-standing employees. Ronald McDonald, of course, was present. They also gave away a cake and free cheeseburgers to some 500 guests. Congratulations to McDonald's on their 45th. Well, stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
This hurricane season, be prepared. Stock up with a battery that lasts up to 35% longer. Duracell Quantum, the most advanced alkaline battery.
Well, another tranquil day. Doppler radar showing a few showers that have diminished throughout the afternoon hours. Lots of dry air in our area right now, and you'll notice satellite picture, not much in our area. Tropical wave did go across the southern Windward Islands, also produced some showers and thunderstorms in Trinidad and Tobago, but that system will continue to stay to our south over the next 24 hours. Of course, what we are watching is the remains of what was Grace, and that will be moving into our area as we head toward our Friday afternoon, Friday night. Mainly clear tonight, though, should be a quiet night. Temperatures anywhere from the middle to upper 70s up along the hills, lower 80s in the lower elevation. You're accurate with the forecast for tomorrow out ahead of Grace. I just think it's sunny and hot and humid, a little bit of a breeze, and I don't think there's anything in the way of showers. Temperatures middle to upper 80s along the hills, lower 90s in the lower elevation in St. Thomas and St. John. Meanwhile, about 91 degrees in St. Croix. Sunshine, patchy clouds, a little breezy, not bad though. And if there's a shower, it is going to be passing. All right, as we look out on the waters tomorrow, should be quiet. I've been saying that all summer, right? East winds 10 to 15 knots in the Atlantic. Waves will average 2 to 4 feet. Meanwhile, the Caribbean also 2 to 4 feet. Winds out of the east up to 15 knots. All right, your News 2 AccuWeather extended outlook. It's Friday afternoon and Friday night where the remains of Grace, could be a tropical depression, could be nothing, but certainly there's moisture. A few showers, I could see a thunderstorm, and we can get some much needed rain, but as you know with tropical systems, there is also the threat for some flash flooding. We'll keep you updated on that tomorrow. Now on Saturday, I think we start drying things out, but there's still a shower or two, especially early in the day. Sunday's dry, nothing more than a passing shower by Monday. So again, not much tomorrow, but we could be looking at some much needed rain here, although there will be the threat for flash flooding with the moisture from Grace as we get into Friday afternoon and Friday night.
News 2 weather brought to you by Duracell Quantum.
Thank you for that, Bernie. And here's a quick peek at our kitty picture. It's from Nathan McCarthy, 4th grader from Joseph Sibley School. And Nathan is showing us a really nice picture of the ocean there, blue seas, blue skies, a little bit of cloud, and a lot of sunshine. Thank you for that, Nathan. If you want to send us a weather picture, you can send it to News 2 Weather, number 1000 Belcher